the Armory New Balance Track and Field Center in Washington Heights. This is the Dr. Sander Invitational Columbia Challenge, which features elite high school, college, and professional track and field athletes.
We are with the winner of the men's 3K. He ran 7:49.11, which is a PR, and is actually first time ever on an indoor track. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, it was fun. 3K is probably my favorite distance. So coming here, I was a little nervous, but also confident that I haven't run a 3K or a good 3K in a couple of years. So I knew I was ready for one, but I just didn't know how I'd go with those tight bends. But it was really fun. I seemed to just get momentum every lap off every bend. And I felt those guys coming for me like a little bit at the end, but yeah, I was just trying to stay in control and make sure I didn't blow up. So I think Milrose in a few weeks' time, I should go a bit quicker.
Perfect. So you said, again, you've never stepped on an indoor track. This is a bank.
Yep.
That's very different. How did you react? Did it take you a couple of laps? Or I tripped my first time. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. It definitely felt a little different. And I kind of walked out around the bend and I was in lane 3 or 4. I just thought to myself, boy, this is pretty steep. So once I got into lane 1 and you kind of pick up that speed a little bit, it's not as bad as you think. But yeah, it was really interesting. I think I was ready for the humidity. I don't know if you've seen the bushfires in Australia.
Yeah.
But I've done probably 2 or 3 weeks of full mileage on a treadmill, just because of the smoke.
That prepared you well for this.
Yeah, so I feel like I was ready for the atmosphere. And I don't know if the treadmill replicates the indoor track at all. I don't think it does, but I was as ready as I was ever going to be, I guess, coming from Australia.
First time in New York City, right?
Yeah, first time in New York, so it was really fun. I only got out to the US maybe like 3 or 4 days ago, so I flew to Boulder for a couple of days, had 2 days of altitude, and back down here. So no, it's good. I can't complain. Good way to start the season.
Perfect.
We've never been on an indoor track ever?
No, so at CU, so I train out of Boulder. Yeah. CU's only open for the college athletes. And Australia obviously doesn't have an indoor track. So
you didn't come in like the day before and run on it? Or
no, I flew in last night. So
wow,
yeah, I literally just got out for one stride before the race.
It's going to be a first.
It was fun.
Are you based in Colorado or Australia?
I'm a little bit all over the place. So I actually run for Malta, live in Australia 6 months of the year, and live in Boulder the other 6 months. So I got my girlfriend back home in Australia, and my team in Colorado, so I run for Team Elite. So yeah, I'm a bit all over the shop.
And right now you're based?
In Colorado at the moment, yeah. So I'll be here for 2 months, hoping to go to World Indoors. I think we qualify the 750, so got that ticked off, and then back to, I think it's in China, so a bit up in the air whether I'll go or not at this stage, but I'll head back to Australia after that and then come back for the outdoor season.
Do you know how Australia is selecting their team? Like, is this?
So I'm actually running for Malta, which is a small island of Italy.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that was a record, national record for Malta as well. So
congratulations.
Yeah, there you go.
You won the Aussie 5K last year, right? How did the Malta thing come about? How did you make that decision?
There's a story online you can read if you want to know more, but essentially I told my grandpa, who was Maltese and came over to Australia in the 50s, that I would run for Malta eventually. And I thought it would be towards the end of my career, you know, when I push out to marathons or something like that. But unfortunately he passed away last year with cancer. So yeah, just before he passed away, I got to run in a meet called the Small Games of Europe, which is just 4 or 5 different countries: Montenegro, Luxembourg, Malta. So that was really fun, and that was a few weeks before he passed. So once I did that, I was pretty much automatic for Malta. So
yeah. Sorry to hear about your grandfather, but it sounds like
a
big inspiration.
Yeah, I did him proud. He was a big inspiration for me, and you know, him and my father, which is the Maltese side, brought me up really well. So yeah, I'm just proud to represent him and do him proud.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Coffs Harbour, so just south of the Gold Coast in Australia. So yeah, as I said, I'm all over the place.
And the fires going on, like when we see it on the news, you know, it sounds like you were there. You can't even run outside. It's that bad.
Yeah, so I was maybe like 200 miles from some of the big fires. But the smoke was pushing over to New Zealand. That's how bad it was, especially once the wind picked up. So yeah, I wasn't in real danger from the fires, but the air quality was the worst. I think Melbourne was the worst city in the world for a good few months with air quality. So I have bad asthma. It just wasn't worth the risk.
So now, like, the biggest thing that I have to ask is, I've only ever been to Australia once, and I was only there for like 6 days, and it took me all 6 days to get accustomed to the time. So how did you adjust coming over here, especially since it is a different season over there too as well?
Yeah.
Season, time change, everything.
Yeah, I guess it's really hard to adjust from the warmer weather to the colder weather. That's just something you kind of have to tough out. But honestly, sleeping tablets help with the time difference. So
you just kind of hope to sleep it all out.
Yeah. I kind of just, once I hop on the flight, I kind of look at the time difference, and you know, when it's like 9 p.m. Boulder time, I just take a sleeping tablet and try and get on the time zone as quick as possible. So
you just try to like force yourself into adjusting, especially since you know you really have no choice.
yeah, basically, and just try and not nap throughout the day, because once you do that, you're kind of screwed. So
How much of the year would you say you train with the other 10-minute guys? How much are you kind of on your own?
probably. So I came back from injury. My last race was July. So I've run one track race before this for 6 months. This is the first time I've worn spikes as well. So that 6 months I was home with my doctors and physios, kind of getting that all sorted. But I've only been with the Tin Men for a year, and I was probably with them for 6 months of last year. Unfortunately, I got injured. Otherwise, I might have been longer. So yeah, I'm hoping this year maybe 6 to 9 months.
When you say home, you mean Australia?
Yeah. Sorry.
So you just, if I remember correctly, you just sort of like, how'd you find 10 men in the group? I mean, it seems like everyone sort of just kind of gravitates to it on their own, but how?
Yeah. So with my old training group, I was based out of the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra. And I just kind of kept breaking down for whatever reasons, and I've never really been injured until this year, but it just so happened that I was like sick for Commonwealth Games trials and the World Champs year before that. I ended up getting sick before our trials as well, and I was sick 3 or 4 times a year just from training too hard. And so I was sick of it, and I just looked for other training groups. I was considering the Melbourne Track Club, but that just didn't really suit me. And at the time, I was kind of following the Tin Men on Instagram, and it looked like they were having a lot of fun. So I really just sent Drew a message, and he said, if you're committed, just come out here and see how you go. And so I booked a flight, and I was there the next day. So I think that really sold them on me.
Pretty cool story.
And going forward, do you want to compete for Malta, or would you want to try to compete
No,
like in Tokyo?
I really want to compete for Malta. They've given me more support over the past 6 months, and with the change in Athletics Australia ever had. So that reason alone would be enough. But obviously with my family, being Maltese as well, and I just recently got the Maltese cross tattooed on my leg because my grandfather had that as well, and I've got the Tin Man logo on the other side. So I'm pretty much locked into Tin Man and Malta for the rest of my career now.
Better not have a falling out. Really.
Yeah.
And in the race today, did you realize you had gained so much separation between 2K and like 2.5?
No, not really. The few 3Ks that I have run, and I've run really well, I've kind of gone out a little bit easier, and I didn't realize how aggressive the races were at the start, so I got pushed to the back and spent the first 2 laps kind of catching up. But that's been where I run my best 3Ks, is going out a little bit slower and then really just pushing it from a mile out. And so I did that as well, and I kind of looked up on the big screen and looked behind me and realized I had a good gap, and kind of not held back, but just kind of pulled back enough where I really wasn't going to burn myself out for that last lap, because I knew they would come for me as well.
So 200-meter track, you say you're coming back from Millrose. What's the biggest thing you take away after your first experience on indoor track? Like what will help you for Millrose?
Probably get out a bit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the goal Tokyo 5K?
Yeah, for sure. So Millrose is obviously worth good points on the ranking system. So if I can run a fast 3K there and finish in the top 5, that would.
I was about to ask if you figured out the whole ranking thing.
No, not really, but I'm trying to. So I think you can only have one indoor race. So I'm running a 5K at BU on the 28th as well. So I'm hoping to just run the Olympic standard there and get that out of the way. So we'll see how we go there. But if not, yeah, I'll just probably come back over and run Peyton Jordan and try and get the most points I can get.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm Kristal, Hart reporting from the Armory New Balance Track and Field Center in Washington Heights. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.